This is a failed random number generator. It's supposed to be a shift, like a bit shifter thing. So, but I kind of failed to make the register here, so it kind of messed it all up. So now, no matter what seed you put in here, it will always output this pattern. So the only way to change it is to manually change this, basically. The original architecture is over here somewhere. Yeah, this is the original one. It's a lot more complex. Oh wait, no. Yeah, this one's the shift register. That one was just supposed to be a like it would feed back into itself. It's just a feedback loop, that one. This one is also a feedback loop, but it's supposed to be a shift register, but it failed. It did not work. I'm not entirely sure why. A bunch of debugging here with not NAND gate. Anyway, this is the basic architecture for the original feedback loop. This one does work, but for some reason translating that did not work, so I've kind of discombobulated the wires, so that's not gonna work. This is 1D cellular automaton I'm working on, or automata. May or may not continue that. Yeah, this monitor is basic design, which I also did for noughts and crosses. Because I do not know how you do proper monitors with buses and single wire data buses. I don't know how you do that. I'll figure out at some point, but for now I just have this, which is a tileable design. Go into here, see it's just stacked, and then every one of these just gets its own separate wire at the back here, like that. These are just basic on or off. If we go over to here, the new one that I was working on today, a few designs. So this one was my first one. It did not quite work, so I was trying to figure out a bulb design that could display 1 and 0 as its two different states. This was the second one I came up with. It did not work at all. And finally there's a third one. This one's a lot simpler. It's missing this lamp, but it does work. So if I flip this, it'll change to 0. Flip it again, it changes to 1. So this is a basic 9-bit cipherer. You input this, it goes through here into this register, then that will invert the output, and then these wires are just arranged in a way that flips it. So hang on, let me grab my sheet. So if you inputted something like 0, actually hang on, I'll demonstrate. That's just its off state. If I did this, it's going to go through that, and then this will be its output. The noughts and crosses thing I was working on absolutely ages ago is over here, which I went past earlier. This is a failed snake thing, which I quickly abandoned to move on to this, where I've got very messy spaghetti. This is that's where I first figured out the lamp design, and here I tried to integrate it, and then here I modified it so it could display X and O. So if I change that, then that's O. But this is a lot of stuff is very inefficient, not really worth it. So this is, it doesn't do proper states. So you just have this thing up here, which is just that, but slightly compressed, which indicates the turn. So if I did this, I'll do that. I started working on this thing up here, but it didn't work because obviously not enough space, and this can only store 2 states. It doesn't have a fully off state, so that was an issue. So I'm not really working on this right now. I might improve it later. This just me first figuring out how to make a register like this. I think it's an RS NOR latch. I can't remember the term. Also over here, got me trying to make an LCD, well, not LCD, like a multicolored display. So I came up with this design where that you can stack tile. There's definitely better ways to do this, but you can control the individual brightness of things like this. So then I just stacked a bunch of them there, and that, if it was bigger and looked better, that would be showing white. It's a very inefficient design, much akin to the rest of them. See, it's just a bunch of levers. That was just for maps. Change that. I think that's it. I'm working on I'm gonna make a programmable computer. It's definitely not the most efficient architecture I can make it myself, but I'll put the diagram up. So it would have main processing unit, which is just, well, CPU, which is just going to be a bunch of different XORs, all doing different things. It would have a ROM for the programs, RAM, so store the programs on ROM. It would have the main program as the first few bits, a program that it wants to access or can access, like a list of those, and then it has the RAM that it should use. Tells the CPU which RAM it should write and read to for that specific program. There would be a clock. It would basically be a feedback loop. The CPU would control a modified version of a D latch, which just locks the signal, so it could release the signal when it needs to. There would be a signal splitter here, so it would go over here into a screen buffer array, well, screen buffer register, and then that would get outputted to a screen. Still using my screen designs, which is going to be extremely inefficient, because for a 9x9 screen, which is what I planned, that's 81 different nodes. Yeah, I'll put the diagram up now.